Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. If you're breathing, you've got a shot at winning today. Every single day is a new opportunity. You don't have to wait for a new year. You don't need perfect conditions. And you sure don't need approval from anybody else. The day you woke up today, God gave you another shot, another chance to take one more step, to say yes to your future and no to anything holding you back. Starting your morning with purpose and gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to take control of your life, because the way you begin your day determines how you live your day. Most people wake up and immediately react to the world around them. Alarms, notifications, worries, deadlines, and other people's expectations. But winners understand that the morning is sacred. It's a time to set your intention, realign with your purpose, and thank God for another chance to move forward. Gratitude shifts your mindset from lack to abundance. When you wake up and say, thank you, you're telling the universe, I see what I have, and I'm ready for more. You're not focused on what's missing, you're focused on what's possible. And that one simple act rewires your brain to seek opportunity instead of obstacles. See, gratitude and purpose are connected. When you recognize the blessing of waking up, you start asking yourself, what can I do with this day? You stop wasting time scrolling, stressing, or procrastinating. You start living with urgency, not panic, but intentional urgency. You realize that time is the most valuable thing you own, and every minute is a chance to build something meaningful. I've learned that people who wake up with purpose don't need motivation, they create it. They don't wait for the perfect moment, they make the moment count. Purpose gives your day a direction, and gratitude gives your heart the fuel to walk in that direction. When I was down and out, I still had mornings, I still had sunrises, I still had breath in my lungs. And I learned to start each of those mornings saying, Lord, thank you. Not because everything was fixed, but because I had the chance to fix it. That's the mindset you need to carry. You don't need everything to be perfect to be thankful. You just need to recognize that life is still offering you chances. Now, once you get that gratitude flowing, you begin to ask yourself different questions. Instead of why me, you ask what now? Instead of what if I fail, you say, what can I learn? That's the power of beginning your day. You're setting the tone before the world gets its hands on you. You're not waiting for something good to happen. You're becoming the good that happens. And it doesn't take much. You don't need a mansion, $1 million business, or a perfect relationship to start your day with gratitude. All you need is awareness. All you need is breath. You can start with something as simple as writing down 3 things you're grateful for, or speaking your purpose aloud while brushing your teeth. You can open your Bible, say a quick prayer, or just sit still for 5 minutes and breathe deeply. That's not wasting time. That's preparing for the fight. Because life will throw things at you. People will test you. Situations will try to break your focus. But when your morning starts strong, when your spirit is centered, when your gratitude is activated, you're not easy to shake. You walk different. You talk different. You don't need external applause to feel valuable, because your worth is already rooted in something solid. The truth is, everybody gets the same 24 hours. The difference between those who win the day and those who lose it starts with how they wake up. Do you rise with dread, or do you rise with determination? Do you curse the clock, or do you thank God for one more chance? It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Winners don't stumble into success. They prepare for it. And the preparation starts before the world even knows you're awake. Setting clear goals before the world distracts you is one of the smartest decisions you can make to ensure that your day belongs to you and not to the chaos around you. When you wake up and your mind is immediately filled with notifications, emails, social media, and everybody else's problems, your time is no longer yours. That's why successful people carve out a moment early in the morning to decide what they want to accomplish, not what others expect from them. You see, life doesn't reward people who stay busy. It rewards people who stay focused. And the only way to stay focused is to know exactly what you're aiming for. You can't hit a target if you never take the time to set it. Every day is an opportunity to get closer to your dreams. But dreams don't move on their own. You have to put them in motion, and that motion starts with clarity. One of the reasons people feel overwhelmed is because they have too many things pulling at them, and none of them are rooted in their own priorities. But when you wake up and say, here's what I need to do today to move forward, you reclaim your power. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. You stop drifting and start driving. I always tell people, don't just write a to-do list, write a success list. Identify 3 specific things that, if completed today, will move your life, your business, your mindset, or your family forward. It could be making a phone call you've been avoiding, finishing a task you've been putting off, or spending quality time with someone who matters. The point is to be deliberate. If you don't take time early in the day to name your goals, the world will assign you its own. You'll find yourself working hard all day but accomplishing nothing meaningful. And that's exhausting. That's how people burn out. Chasing everybody else's expectations without honoring their own vision. Let me tell you something else about goals. They don't have to be big, they just have to be clear. You don't need to build Rome in a day. You just need to lay one brick with purpose. Small wins stacked daily become unstoppable momentum. But you can't even get that momentum if you don't decide what winning looks like for you today. When you start your day with your own blueprint, you stop living on autopilot. You stop comparing your pace to others because you focused on your lane. That kind of clarity gives you confidence. It gives you direction. It gives you peace. Because instead of asking yourself, did I do enough today? You'll be able to say, I did what I set out to do. And you've got to do this before the noise kicks in, before the meetings, before the calls, before the demands. Those first few moments in the morning are when your mind is the clearest, your spirit is the calmest, and your willpower is the strongest. That's when you plan. That's when you decide. That's when you take control. Because once the day gets going, it's much harder to course correct. You'll get pulled into other people's problems and your vision will start to blur. But if you set your course early, you're less likely to drift. That's how winners operate. They don't wait until the day falls apart to try and fix it. They start with a solid foundation. They go into the day like a general goes into battle with a strategy, a mission, and a mindset to win. When you know your priorities, you're not shaken by distractions. You don't say yes to every request. You don't spend hours doing things that don't align with your vision. You protect your focus because you understand the value of your time. That's how you start owning your day. One clear goal at a time. Speaking positively, even in struggle, is one of the most powerful disciplines you can develop if you want to win daily in life. Words carry energy, and whatever energy you release into the world has a way of coming back to you. Most people don't realize how much power they give away just by the way they talk. When you're going through something difficult and you keep repeating how hard it is, how tired you are, how nothing ever works out, you're not just describing your situation, you're feeding it. You're giving your struggle more fuel. But when you learn to speak with authority, when you declare strength, even in weakness, hope, even in hardship, and faith, even in fear, you shift the energy around you and inside you. The enemy doesn't fear your circumstances. The enemy fears your words, because your words shape your belief and your belief shapes your outcome. There were times in my life when I had every reason to complain. I was broke and homeless, sleeping in my car. But I made a decision that I wasn't going to let my situation dictate my speech. I would look in the mirror and say, Steve, this ain't where it ends. You're built for more than this. You're going to make it. I didn't say it because I felt like it. I said it because I needed to believe it. And eventually that belief started building something inside me. Speaking positively is not about ignoring your reality. It's about choosing to speak life into your future, even when your present looks dark. You don't have to lie to yourself, but you don't have to curse yourself either. You can acknowledge the struggle without surrendering to it. You can say, this is tough, but I'm tougher. This is painful, but I'm growing. This hurts, but it won't last forever. The truth is, your words are seeds. Every time you speak, you planted something in your mind and your spirit. If you keep planting negativity, don't be surprised when nothing good grows. But if you plant power, courage, faith, and vision, even in the middle of chaos, you'll start to see strength rise up in you that you didn't know you had. That's why affirmations work. That's why prayer works. That's why encouragement works. Because repetition rewires your brain and energy attracts results. Start paying attention to the words you use about yourself, your life, and your future. If you wouldn't say it to someone you love, don't say it to yourself. You are listening to you more than anyone else is, and what you say in private determines how you feel in public. One of the most important things you can do is protect your mouth when your emotions are high. Struggle makes people emotional, and emotions can make you speak defeat. But winners discipline their words. They know how to sit in the pain without surrendering to it. They know how to cry and still declare victory. That's real strength. Not pretending everything is fine. Speak what you expect, not just what you experience. Speak where you're going, not just where you are. And if you don't have the strength to speak powerfully on your own, surround yourself with people who will speak it over you. Find friends who build you, not break you. Listen to messages that lift you. Read books that remind you who you are. Your words are weapons. Use them wisely. Don't hand your enemy the sword by speaking like you've already lost. Speak like you've already overcome, even if you're still walking through the fire. Because that mindset, that language, that inner declaration, that's what separates people who survive from people who succeed. Protecting your peace from toxic people is one of the most crucial things you can do if you want to grow, stay focused, and live a life that aligns with your purpose. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Some people are only in your life to distract you, drain you, and keep you small. They wear disguises. They come as friends, co-workers, even family, but their spirit carries confusion, jealousy, gossip, manipulation, or negativity. When you allow these types of people into your space unchecked, your peace is the first thing to suffer. And once your peace is disturbed, your mind becomes cluttered, your emotions become unstable, and your vision gets blurred. Protecting your peace isn't about being rude or isolating yourself. It's about creating boundaries that preserve your mental, emotional, and spiritual health so that you can continue walking in your calling. You have to recognize that peace is power. Without peace, your energy is scattered. You can't think straight, you can't make wise decisions, and you can't hear clearly from God. That's why toxic people are so dangerous. They don't just annoy you, they rob you of clarity. They'll have you second guessing yourself, questioning your worth, and stepping out of character to deal with their mess. Some people thrive on chaos. And if you're not careful, they'll invite you into it under the disguise of connection. That's why you need to be intentional about who you allow to speak into your life and share space with your spirit. You don't need everybody's approval. You don't need to be everyone's fixer. You don't need to argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Sometimes protecting your peace means not responding, not explaining, and not engaging. Silence is a boundary, and peace is a choice. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn was that not everyone who starts with you is meant to stay with you. Growth reveals relationships. When you start to elevate, certain people will be uncomfortable, not because you've changed for the worse, but because your light exposes their shadows. They were fine with you as long as you stayed where they were. But the moment you start to dream bigger, think differently, or want more out of life, they start to criticize, pull back, or even sabotage. That's when you know it's time to protect your peace. You have to be okay with letting go of what no longer aligns with where you're going. And yes, it might hurt. Yes, it might feel lonely. But peace is better than popularity, and clarity is better than comfort. People will test your boundaries. They'll call you selfish when you start to put yourself first. They'll say you've changed when you start playing small. But the truth is, protecting your peace is one of the most selfless things you can do. Because when you're centered, calm, and spiritually aligned, you show up better for everyone around you. You love harder, lead stronger, and live more authentically. But you can't give the best of you if you're always surrounded by people who bring out the worst in you. You have to learn to recognize the energy people carry and decide whether it adds value or adds chaos. And if it's chaos, it has to go. It's okay to love people from a distance. It's okay to wish them well without letting them back into your inner circle. Forgiveness doesn't mean access. Healing doesn't require reconnection. Protecting your peace means being so in tune with your purpose that you no longer tolerate distractions disguised as relationships. It means checking your environment daily and asking yourself, does this feel peaceful? Does this feel right? And if it doesn't, you have the right to change it. Peace is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the soil where purpose grows, where ideas flourish, and where your best self can breathe. And once you've experienced true peace, you'll do whatever it takes to keep it. Because peace isn't passive, it's powerful, it's intentional, it's sacred, and it belongs to you. Investing daily in your mind and faith is one of the most valuable habits you can build if you want to grow into your full potential and stay grounded through every season of life. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant in it daily is what will grow. And if you don't take control of what's been planted, weeds of doubt, fear, and negativity will take root without permission. Feeding your mind with inspiration, knowledge, and truth is not a one-time event. It's a daily decision to build yourself from the inside out. Just like your body needs food, your mind needs fuel. And what you choose to feed it will determine your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, and ultimately your results. If all you do is consume noise, scrolling aimlessly, watching content that adds no value, or listening to voices that don't align with your goals, you're programming your mind to stay distracted and disempowered. The people who succeed at the highest level are not always the most talented or the most connected, but they are consistent about what they allow into their minds. They read daily, they pray daily, they listen to messages that build their spirit. They create an environment that supports their growth. They are intentional about protecting their mental space because they understand that the battle for greatness is first won in the mind. Every day you are either reinforcing your doubts or reinforcing your faith. Every conversation, every book, every video, every thought is either taking you closer to your vision or pulling you further away. You don't accidentally build a strong mind. You train it. You train it with repetition, discipline, and focus. You train it by choosing what to focus on and what to block out. And that training starts every morning when you decide who you are going to be today. But mental strength without spiritual grounding is incomplete. That's why investing in your faith is just as important as investing in your mind. Life will throw challenges at you that no amount of knowledge or strategy can fully prepare you for. In those moments, what keeps you steady is not your intellect, it's your belief. It's knowing that even when things don't make sense, you are not walking alone. Faith gives you the courage to act when fear tells you to quit. It gives you peace in uncertainty and power in weakness. And faith, like the mind, must be fed daily. You don't grow spiritually by chance. You grow by staying connected to your source, whether that's through prayer, reading scripture, worship, or simply being still and listening. You are realigning yourself with truth that's bigger than your problem. Some people think they're too busy to invest in their mind and faith. They say, I don't have time to read, or I can't find time to pray. But the truth is, you don't have time not to. Life moves fast, and if you don't slow down long enough to renew your mind and refill your spirit, you end up running on empty, chasing goals but feeling lost inside. And eventually that catches up to you. You'll start to feel burnout, confusion, and emotional exhaustion. But when you pour into yourself consistently, you lead your life instead of life leading you. You make decisions from clarity, not pressure. You face challenges with strength, not panic. And you move through life with purpose instead of being pushed around by whatever comes next. Building this daily habit doesn't have to be complicated. It could be as simple as reading 10 pages of a book that inspires you, journaling your thoughts and prayers in the morning, or listening to something uplifting on your commute. The point is to make it intentional, Make it non-negotiable. Because when your mind is sharp and your faith is strong, you become resilient, focused, and unstoppable. You start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You hear your calling louder than the noise around you. You stop living small because you've trained your thoughts to believe in more. And you've anchored your faith in something greater than your fears. This is not just about self-help. It's about soul work. It's about rising above distractions, doubt, and discouragement, and choosing to become the best version of yourself, starting from within. Ending each day with reflection, not regret, is a powerful habit that shifts your focus from what went wrong to what you can learn, what you can be grateful for, and how you can grow forward. Most people go to bed replaying their mistakes, their missed opportunities, the things they didn't do right, or the things that went sideways during the day. That cycle of regret doesn't bring change. It only brings guilt, stress, and restlessness. But when you develop the discipline to pause and reflect at the end of each day, you give yourself a chance to reset your perspective. You start to see the lessons instead of the losses. You stop beating yourself up and start building yourself up. Because growth doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being honest, being aware, and being willing to do better tomorrow than you did today. Reflection is not just looking at what you didn't get done, it's celebrating what you did do. You might not have accomplished everything, but you moved, you tried, you showed up. That counts. When you reflect, you recognize progress, not just results. You begin to see your life as a journey rather than a checklist. And when you treat each day as part of the process, you free yourself from the pressure of needing everything to be fixed overnight. Reflection helps you slow down, acknowledge what's working, admit what isn't, and decide how you want to move forward. It's like taking inventory of your day. What added value, what drained energy, and what needs to be adjusted. That kind of clarity builds confidence. Because once you see patterns in your days, you can make better decisions. You start repeating the same mistakes and you start building new habits on purpose. A lot of people avoid reflection because they think it means facing failure. But the truth is, reflection gives you power. When you reflect, you take control of your story.